Hey, Holt, really good job on the case study. And it's often tough to do commentary on really good presentations, and therefore kind of hard to do a responsive commentary. But don't worry, I've got plenty of stuff to give you. Um, so just before I give the commentary, just a note that you can do your responsive commentary in written form or in video form, totally up to you. In video, you can, like I record on Screencast-O-Matic and then upload to YouTube. You could do that. You can find another web-based server that you want to use. Or I've also created a Flipgrid that you can use, but of course Flipgrid other people will see, so just be aware of that fact if you do it. If you do by video, you've got a limit of 5 minutes. If you do it written, you've got a limit of 2 pages. Okay, so that's part of this week's homework. Okay, now for the commentary itself. So, I like your argument. I take your argument to be that the utility of the proposed restrictions outweighs the disutility or harms of imposing them on some of the stakeholders in the case, and also that the potential harms warrant the liberty restriction. So I really want to give you an opportunity to expand on one of those 2 points and then push you a little bit on the other. In terms of just expanding on the utility issue, you note in your case study presentation that there are some serious long-term consequences of destroying infrastructure, and that could negatively affect many people. But then you say this is even worse if we consider the perspective of endangered animals who might be driven to extinction by the escaped reptiles. So just an opportunity to expand on that if you want, to just talk a little bit about why some of the harms enumerated in the case are so harmful. You've got limited space in the case study to do that, and I thought you actually budgeted your space really well. But one nice thing about a reply to a commentary, it sort of gives you an additional opportunity to elaborate on a few things. So you could do that if you want. The thing I really want, there's really just one thing I want to push you on, because like I said, you did a really good job. You give the analogy to drunk driving, and I worry very much about this analogy because drunk driving is irresponsible use of both alcohol and a motor vehicle. And you argue by analogy that the restrictions prevent really bad outcomes from happening by owners of these iguanas and tegus. And I wonder if there's a big important difference between responsible use and irresponsible use and how you would handle that. For instance, we don't prohibit all people from drinking, nor do we prohibit all people from driving, but we know that some people will drink and drive, and so therefore there's a risk that there'll be misuse of it and harm could result. We don't prohibit all people from owning guns, even though we know that there will be irresponsible use of guns. There are some products that we make it illegal to manufacture, but many products are legal to manufacture and consume, and we worry only when they're consumed or manufactured irresponsibly. So what I'd like to hear you do is argue for why you think these restrictions are legitimate on those who we have no evidence have done anything irresponsible with the iguanas and tegus. And presumably, right, you'll get into sort of likelihood issues, likelihood of them getting out and extensive harm, etc. But I do think that's a big deal. So at the minimum, I think you need to do more utilitarian argument to talk about likelihood and intensity and how those intersect. But then I think you have to do the secondary thing, which is talk about how you justify a liberty restraint on a group of people whose actions seem to be different than someone acting irresponsibly, like in a drunk driving situation. In other words, sort of defend that analogy, because that was my main beef with the case study. All right, other than that, really fantastic job. Look forward to your commentary. And again, you can do it in writing, you can do it by video.